Hi guys, I hope you're all well. So even though I am still yet to play any kind of Warhammer 40k games, I still like printing and painting, well, Warhammer 40k figures, as well as these, some lovely sort of proxy figures that can be used in your Warhammer 40k. And yeah, good old My Mini Factory is where I like to go. And as you can see, this awesome looking plane by Puppet War. I will leave links down below. And obviously it's flown by a good old Ork because, well, I absolutely love Orks. And as you can see, yeah, it's quite varied, this plane. Lots of customizable bits. So I'm going to be using the Halot X1. It's a print I've been using quite a lot now, just because, well, I absolutely love it. It looks great, works really well, and obviously I can get a lot of things printed on one build plate. So with this plane, say it is very customizable, as in there's a whole load of weapons that are interchangeable, and I'll show you how you can interchange them very soon. So as you can see, I've got the main parts on this one build plate, but then I've got a second build plate, and I say this is just chocker full of, well, all the missiles, weapons, there's landing gear, bits of the wings, and all the rest of it, which obviously goes on to making the plane. So the Halot X1, I will leave links down below, guys, so where you can find out more details about it. And if you've seen some of the recent videos where, well, I have used this, you'll know there's a couple of features that are very different from this to, well, any other 3D printer. And the first one, as you can see, yeah, rather than the build plate going down, which is kind of the conventional way, this one's got all the gubbins below. So that's the vat with all the resin, and obviously the light source underneath it rises up. Yeah, I'm not sure there's any other 3D printers that do this, but yeah, this one certainly does. And I say it works awesomely. This is obviously speeded up a little bit. Obviously, it doesn't go quite this fast, but yeah. So the resin vat then goes down, and the build plate, I say, is stationary, which is pretty cool. The other thing I love about this is the top bit's got these little flappy paddles. So rather than having to scrape all these bits off, you just twist and turn the flappy paddles, and the bits fall off. And obviously, talking about bits, yeah, all these bits printed perfectly, obviously tons of them. So it's kind of like a bit of an Airfix jigsaw thing now to put these all together. And obviously, the best way to do that is, yeah, good old glue. So something obviously I was mentioning a little bit earlier about how customizable this plane is. And that's due to the fact that this plane has, obviously you'll be able to see in a second, there's lots of holes all over. So every bit of it has little holes. And these holes, well, they're for magnets. And again, if you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I love using magnets. Obviously, I'm gluing this bit. But yeah, so these holes, you can pop magnets in, which means you can put this thing together, but then you can also take the bits apart. And the bits that I'm mainly interested in is the weapons. As I say, I printed out every single sort of weapon there was for this. But you can't put them all on at once because, well, that would just be nuts. What I say in that, it is an Ork vehicle, so you can never have enough DACA. But yeah, so magnets, as you can see there, so the wings, they're going to be still been able to move, but on the end of the wings, you can put whatever kind of weapons you want. So if you were to take this into a game, you really can make it a WYSIWYG. The old what you see is what you get, just because you can change out the weapons. So whether you want missiles on the wings or machine guns or whatever it is you want, yeah, you can have it there. And yeah, I love this as well. The wheels, yeah, you can take them off or on, or they sort of collapse behind themselves. Again, this is why I love magnets, and I'm a big kid, but yeah, I am still amazed by, well, how magnets work. And the fact that, again, the wings, yeah, you can pop them in, pop them out, depending on what sort of speed he's going. So obviously for weapons, I do prefer bombs over machine guns. So it's got one lot of machine guns on this, but then it's got loads of bombs. Some nice long thin ones and some nice chunky ones. And there we go. So it comes with a base. Again, the base has magnets in the top of it, meaning, yeah, I can just pop this off. Again, I love the fact that they put so much thought into this miniature, being able to make it, well, customizable, and you can do kind of what you want with it. Again, guys, links down below to the miniature and the Halot X1. So everything's printed out perfectly. And as you saw at the beginning, I put loads of bits on one build plate. So obviously priming it, yeah, priming it red. It's got to go faster. I had considered just doing it sort of like a normal kind of grey. But then I thought, no, this is an Ork vehicle. If it's not going to be red, then it'll probably be something like yellow or orange or some outlandish colour. But as you can see, I've gone for red because red makes things go faster. So yeah, I'll leave links again, guys. Anything I use in my videos, there's always links down below. I've been using the Colourforge primers for, oh, I don't know now, about 3 years, 4 years. Absolutely love how they come out. Obviously, black's the main one that I use. They do a whole variety of colours, which is just awesome. So as you can see, I've gone for the base being the gold and the ship red. So obviously it is too clean and needs a wash. Yeah, I would go through that wash really quickly. So I'm gonna have a go at making my own wash. This black ink, I've actually had this. I've had this about 2-3 years, I think, with the intent of making a wash. But then, as always, I get distracted easily by other projects or other things that I'm building, working on, or making. Yeah, so this thing hasn't even been used, hasn't even been opened. So finally, I'm gonna have a go at making a wash. You'll see though that I do make a mistake while doing this because it's been that long since I looked into how you make a wash. Yeah, I kind of forgot one important ingredient. So as you can see, I'm trying to put the ink on with some water, and yeah, it is just sitting on top of the primer there. It's not sort of getting into any nooks and crannies. It's not flowing well. It's just, yeah, it's like oil and water. They're just not mixing, and that's because I forgot the one important ingredient. Let's put say important ingredient. It's a simple ingredient, and that's this washing up liquid. Apparently, this breaks up the tension. I'm sure there's some smart person who's going to put in the comments exactly what it does, but I think it's something to do with the tension in the water or the fluid or the liquid, whatever it might be. And by putting up washing up liquid in there, it breaks that up and then means it can flow. It will go into nooks and crannies. And yeah, rather than sort of sitting on top of the other paint, it'll actually mix in with it. Don't ask me what the quantities are. Again, I watched videos years ago when I first bought this black ink stuff to make a wash, and then I've totally forgot. So I just kind of chucked in probably more washing up liquid than I needed. But yeah, it's come out reasonably well. Not the best, but as a wash goes. So yeah, I'm definitely going to look into making a proper wash because, well, I've had this ink stuff so long. Yeah, I need to make more washes. So the next one I'm going to put on is good old transfers. Love transfers because obviously they are a smart, easy, neat way of, well, adding more effects to a plane. I've got a whole variety of things here. Some of them are Ork related, and some of them clearly aren't. But again, this is where rule of cool comes in. I put things on that I like. So they don't necessarily need to mean anything. They're just going on to give it a bit more a bit more of a better look, really, I guess. It's a plane, it's got to have some decals on it. So the paint job on this, yeah, going to be fairly simple. So obviously priming it in red kind of took out most of the hard work. And now what I need to do is just go around, doing a bit of dry brushing with silver, just over the edges, just to make it look a little bit worn, weathered, and well, to give it more of a metallic look rather than it being, well, a 3D printed plastic look. And as you guys all know, yeah, I like to keep things nice and simple. So yeah, my paint jobs are going to be simple, quick, hopefully fairly efficient. But again, as I say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I paint things how I'm happy with them, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So the couple of little orcs or gobby guys, whatever is one in the back, yeah, they need painting. Obviously, I won't be able to paint too well over the red, so I'm kind of doing a little bit of dry brushing with an off-white color, so I can then use my speed paints, different inks, or well, whichever ones I'm going to be using. So in this case, yeah, speed paint, good old leather. As yeah, I want him to have a look like he's got a leather jacket on. Although you will see a little bit later on in the video, I wasn't happy, or wasn't quite happy with how it came out, so I did change it a little bit. Again, that's the joy of painting. When you do paint, sometimes you have an idea in your head of how you want it to look and how you want it to come out. But then as you start painting and doing things, you then decide, nah, not too fussed on what that looks like, and then change it. As I always say, yeah, don't sort of settle for something. If you don't like it, change it, because otherwise later on down the line you'll look at it and think, oh, I wish I had spent a bit more time and changed it. So obviously he's an orc, so he's going to be green, and yeah, I've got a few greens that I like. And that's the thing I love about the army paint, the speed paints. I think I've got about 18 different greens that I can choose, and I kind of use well, I guess all of them except one, and the only one I don't ever use is one that's called orc green. Although, as you can see in this case, yeah, I'm using Green Stuff World. Again, I think they do about 8 different greens, which is pretty cool. So, say, keeping this thing really simple. Most of it is obviously going to be red because it's all the metal bits. There's a few wires coming out of, well, I'm not kind of sure what this thing's meant to do on this plane, but obviously it's an orc plane. So they make things however they want, and by willing it, it will then fly. So all these wires coming out, yeah, I'm just going to add a little bit of color here, not too much. I want to keep this thing fairly simple in looks. And then once that's done, obviously that looks too neat, too tidy. So I'm just going to chuck a wash on. So this wash, obviously the bottle is Agrax Earthshade. Although I had a bit of that black wash that I made up. So I chucked some in there, which is why it looks a little bit frothy. Again, obviously that's the soap that I put in, possibly too much. Hey ho. So yeah, his jacket, once it dried, it looked too dark. It kind of blended in too much with the rest of the red. So yeah, I thought I'd change that up by painting it brown. And then once that dried, then I did put like another kind of like wash over that, because obviously things look too neat and too tidy. So yeah, Green Stuff World, they do intensity inks, which seem to be a combination between a wash and their dipping inks. Again, just love how these sort of things come out, and it's just making this thing a little bit more contrasty. So there are darker areas in the nooks and crannies, and obviously lighter areas on the top. And there we go. So absolutely love this miniature, and the fact that you can swap and change so many things out is just awesome. Obviously comes away from the base. I love the wheels because they obviously retract, or you could take them off fully. And yeah, I guess more than anything else, it's an Ork vehicle. And I just love it for that. So yeah, absolutely awesome to paint. Looks really cool. Unfortunately, though, I don't play Warhammer 40k. I keep looking into it, but there's too many figures. Yeah, far too many figures for my liking. So I'm going to stick to kill teams. Although there is a new game coming up, guys, or a new game to me. Keep an eye out for that. Hopefully the box should be turning up in the next few days. So I'll be unboxing and painting miniatures. I'm not going to say what it is because, well, I want you guys to come back and watch my videos. Talking of videos, there's another video coming up at the end of the screen, guys. Give that a click, see more of what I do. And yeah, if you are new here and you like what I do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and leave comments. I do read them all. I'll apologise now, I don't always respond, but I do like to read the comments, especially if you guys have got any suggestions on any sort of games that I should be looking at, or any miniatures you want to see me paint or attempt to paint. By again, all means, leave down below. Can't even talk now. End of the video. Yeah, let me know down below, guys, what you might want to see me paint in the future. Anyway, I'm going to go now because obviously my brain clearly has had enough and is starting to switch off. You guys take care. Click on the video that's coming up on the screen, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.